Guten Tag. My name is Herr Daly, and this podcast will talk about the general guidelines regarding the Leaving Certificate German Oral. Currently, the oral examination usually takes place in March or April, and it counts for 25% at higher level and 20% at ordinary level. In the roleplay, you will have to answer general questions, a picture sequence or project, and a roleplay. Currently, these total to 100 marks of your overall grade. The oral examination will last about 5 minutes. The introduction for the roleplay. On the day of the oral, you will meet the examiner as a class when he or she arrives at the school. The examiner will give a brief explanation to the format of the exam. If you have opted to do a project instead of the picture stories, you must bring your project to the briefing session with the examiner, and the examiner will have a look at it before giving it back to you. You will bring this project with you later into the exam. When you enter the room, greet the examiner by saying Guten Morgen or Guten Tag and then sit down. Be prepared to answer the questions Wie geht es Ihnen? How are you? You could say Danke, mir geht's gut und Ihnen. The examiner will ask you your name. Wie heißen Sie? Wie ist Ihr Name? And you must give your full name. Zum Beispiel, for example, ich heiße John Murphy. Ich heiße Kira Kelly. Then you are asked for your exam number. Wie ist Ihre Prüfungsnummer? And you say your number in German. Don't worry if you get nervous and you forget it. Your number is printed on the roll sheet, and the examiner will point it out to you if you cannot remember it. Then you will be asked to sign the roll sheet. Unterschreiben Sie hier bitte. This is just to certify that you have attended the exam. The examiner will then ask you if you have left your mobile outside the exam room. Haben Sie Ihr Handy draußen gelassen? The answer to this question is simply Ja. You are not allowed to have a mobile phone in your possession in the exam room, even if it is on silent or fully switched off. You must leave it outside the exam room. The oral examination will be recorded. Do not worry about this. It is for the benefit of the student, so that the examiner can listen to the recording once you've left the room and award you the maximum amount of marks that you deserve. Okay, so now we'll talk about the oral component. Part 1 is broken up to general questions. Allgemeine Fragen. This section is about 4 or 5 minutes in conversation. Be prepared to ask questions on topics of your age, birthday, families, hobbies, part-time jobs, areas where you live, school subjects, school day, your school, facilities, how you travel to school, feelings about learning, so on and so forth. Basically, all the topics that you would have learned in your German class. To prepare for this section, write out what you're going to say about each topic and have your teacher or another colleague correct it for you. Then practice the pronunciation by speaking out aloud or using the accompanying podcasts, which have myself as a teacher asking the questions and then allowing for a suitable pause for you to offer your answer and pronounce and articulate yourself correctly in order to be successful and get the maximum amount of marks. Example topics that will be asked are as follows. Details zur Passion, Schule, Sprachenlernen, Berufspläne, Freizeitbeschäftigung, Kontakt mit Deutschen, Sommerferien. If you do not catch or understand the question, I'm going to give you a couple of phrases that you can use to get the attention of the examiner and to ask her to repeat the question. Wie bitte? Excuse me, I did not catch what you said. Können Sie die Frage wiederholen? Could you repeat that question? Noch einmal bitte. Again, please. Können Sie bitte die Frage anders formulieren? Can you ask the question again in a different way? Ich verstehe die Frage nicht. I don't understand the question. Tut mir leid, aber ich habe das deutsche Wort für, insert the word that you don't know, vergessen. I'm sorry, but I've forgotten the German word for whatever the word you've forgotten. Was heißt, whatever the word is, auf Deutsch? What is, whatever the word is in German? How do you say, whatever that word is in German? Darf ich etwas fragen? May I say something? Or may I ask something? Section 2 is Bildergeschichten oder Projekt. Now the Bildergeschichten are a set of 5 picture stories currently that you will have prepared in class with your teacher. Alternatively, you can also do a project with your teacher. However, this must be discussed and agreed with the teacher before you embark on any projects, just to make sure that you have the correct guidance. The last part of the oral is the Rollenspiele. Okay? Many students find this quite nerve-wracking, although it is probably the easiest section of the exam. Currently, there are 5 picture stories to accompany the 5 role plays. These role plays will be learned in class. Now, these role plays are the easiest because they consist of a number of set answers that you can write to be as difficult as possible or as easy as possible. The important thing is that you convey the idea or you communicate the message and tell the examiner what is happening in each story. Now, everybody has favourite songs on the radio that they know and they can sing off instinctively. Likewise with the Rollenspiele, once you know what you're going to say, it should be very easy to hum or mime or even sing your roleplay or rap your roleplay. Okay? So once we have this sorted out, once you find a fun way of learning it, if you can rattle off various lyrics of songs on the radio, you should be able to do the same with the roleplays. There is no excuse for not having the roleplay prepared. At the end of the examination, you say vielen Dank oder Danke schön oder ich danke Ihnen, thank you, to the examiner. Or you can say, ich bin froh, die Prüfungen hinter mir zu haben. I'm happy to have the examination behind me. Again, nice expressions that will maybe get you 1 or 2 extra marks in the exam. Now, the oral examinations are the first part of your leaving certificate, so naturally you may feel nervous. It's very important to remember that you will not lose marks for being nervous. You will lose marks for not saying anything and having lots of blanks. You will gain marks if you start speaking and expressing yourself slowly with good pronunciation. The examiner is there to help you and guide you through the various questions according to your ability and try to give you maximum marks. To make yourself confident, practice speak German as much as possible, even when you are by yourself. Speak loudly and articulate yourself. Prepare what you're going to say. Get it correct. Say it out loud and say it over and over. Übergang macht den Meister. Practice makes perfect. Viel Erfolg. Many or lots of success.